Hello friends, welcome. Friends, on 13 September 2024, TRAI came out with this recommendation on connectivity to access service VNOs for more than one NSOs. Now, those who are watching this video might have got confused, right? Because what is this all about? Connectivity to access service VNOs for more than one NSOs. First of all, what is this term VNO and what is this term NSO? Maybe you are aware of NSO, network service operators like Bharti, Airtel, Bharti, Reliance Jio, Vodafone Idea, BSNL. So those are NSO. But what are VNOs? Now, friends, I am doing this video with a purpose, right? And I'll take you through each and every aspect of it. Just you have to be patient with me. Let me just tell you, it might appear to be a very uninteresting topic, but this is extremely important for those who really want to understand that why we are in this state of affair where our connectivity, both quality and coverage, is so poor. And the leverage of the consumer is decreasing day by day. So this is going to give you a peak of the problem which the typical policy segment of our country hasn't been able to solve. Means it has not been able to unlock the bottlenecks which would have given an opening for the players who wanted to contribute in this sector to contribute with full flexibility. And that's why this topic is very, very important. It might appear to be to you a very technical discussion, which some people may say that I don't really bother about or care. But if you really are interested in understanding the implication of this whole point which I'm going to make in this video, you really understand that where we are and what kind of improvements are needed to unlock the potential of India's telecom sector or potential of individual contributors who want to contribute. That's the whole purpose of this video. Now, before I tell you the story, I need to give you certain insight as to what is going on. First, let's talk about what is VNO. VNO is Virtual Network Operator. And what is this about connectivity to access service VNOs for more than one NSO? Just be with me, patient, I'll explain to you. NSO, you know that, I've already told. This is all the telecom operators, big telecom operators. Now, I am going to take you through this recommendation, but before that, I have to give you a little bit of history. So let's go back to year 2015. In year 2015, TRAI came out with this recommendation, introduction of virtual network operators in the telecom sector, this recommendation. Now, what was the need for virtual telecom operators in the Indian telecom sector? You might say that there were already so many players at that time. We are talking about year 2015. So if you look at the date of this recommendation, 1st May 2015. So this was the date on which the recommendation came out. At that time, I think 7 to 10, maybe 13 operators were operating in various circles, right? So what TRAI thought was that because NTP, if you recall, NTP, National Telecom Policy, NTP, that had an objective of 100% rural tele-density, 100% rural tele-density by year 2020. Right, 2020, and at that time the rural tele-density was roughly around 47%. So if you go and look at the TRAI's performance metrics and go and even in this recommendation, you will find the reference of that number. That 47% is the tele-density. If you go here, I might have highlighted somewhere, 47%. See, NTP is talking about 100%, and the tele-density at that particular point of time was around 47%. So let's forget about that because that is not a problem point. So because the tele-density was 47%, so what they thought that they needed more contributors, and virtual network operator was thought of a contributor which can scale this up and enhance the rural tele-density significantly. So the NTP 2012 objective of 100% tele-density of 100% tele-density can be met by 2020. So that's the whole objective of introduction of VNO. Now, when this discussion was happening, if you go through this recommendation of 2015, you will find that the existing operators opposed. They said, some of them supported and most of the operators opposed, and they said that there is no need for introduction of VNOs because the competition in the sector is already very high. I have mentioned here, and in my article also you will see. These are the underlying portion of this note. On the contrary, some of the stakeholders expressed views that the Indian telecom market is extremely competitive, and introduction of VNOs and VNOs will adversely affect the financial health of the sector. And they have argued that the VNO cannot be a solution to achieve the target and define NTP 2012 of rural tele-density, as the proliferation of infrastructure in rural areas would be done by the NSO. So that's what they said, that we are going to do it. So forget about these VNOs. And the sector requires an incremental capex of 80 to 90,000 crores, and VNO no way will be able to meet this objective. That was in short that they were saying. So what TRAI basically did, they took a cautious approach. They said, TRAI in the recommendation said that we understand that the market is very, very competitive, and therefore we would like the VNOs to be an extension of NSOs. And they restricted the VNOs to be connected to only one operator as far as access services are concerned. What are access services? Access services which are directly identified through a telephone number. It can be wireline, it can be wireless. So unless there is a telephone number, the service does not qualify as an access service. They said that if a VNO has to be allowed, it has to be parented to only one particular NSO from the point of view of access services. However, if the services are not access, for example, NLD services, ILD services, then multiple NSOs can converge into a particular VNO. Means VNO can get resources from multiple NSOs. But as regard access services, only one network service operator was allowed. Various reasons were given. I don't want to get into the reason, right? One of the reason, which is pretty important, and because this video will not, I don't want this video to go beyond its length, what I want this video to remain. So what I will do is, I will go straight to the 2018 guideline. There was a guideline which was issued for VNO by DOT in 2016. I will not bore you with that, but 2018 guideline is pretty important. Now let me tell you what I basically want to say. Now in this guideline, rather than going into it, it's going to be very complicated. I don't want to want you to read everything. What happened was that this restriction of the VNO to be parented to only one particular NSO was somehow relaxed in this guideline. What they said was, they said that there is a category of license called access service category B, which is a district level license, because typically in India the licenses are always on an LSA basis, license service access area, which is in granularity where multiple LSAs contribute to a circle, because circle is like Maharashtra circle, Delhi circle, MP circle, like that. So what they said is that for small providers, they created a category B service, VNO service, and said that in this scenario, if an operator is wanting to get a category B license, then the restriction of the services to be anchored to a specific wireline service. By the way, this category B services was only for wireline only. It was not for wireless. Okay. So what it did was, it enabled a wireline VNO operator who is operating on a smaller scale to able to parent to multiple NSOs, right? So that's what it allowed. Very simple as that, right? Whereas this guideline also had certain points of references which are typically important for you to note. So what I want you to focus on here is that it says that however, in case of access service category, only wireline equipment to be allowed to be installed. So that's what I mentioned in red. If you see here, red, and then it went and says that no spectrum should be assigned to VNO, those who are wanting to do wireless services, because one category was service B was introduced, and then it was a general guideline which captured the operational empowerment of all the other type of VNOs, and it says that no spectrum shall be assigned to the VNOs, right? It mentioned that in this page number 6. If you see here, page number 6. And it went on to make another point here, which said that license fees, entry fee and annual license fee, spectrum usage charges, a percentage of adjusted gross revenue shall be paid by the license service area for each authorized service separately by as per the procedure specified in the chapter of unified VNO, right? Unified license base, unified. This is called VNO from the effective date of the respective authorization. So what it is saying? You will not be assigned spectrum, but you have to pay spectrum usage charge. Now, what kind of policy and guideline is this? Because VNO, like look, there is an NSO here, right? VNOs are not allowed to get parented to multiple NSOs. So this NSO is going to get parented to a specific VNO here, and there will be spectrum here, right? So he is going to borrow the spectrum of this NSO, right? This is what the situation is. Now this NSO is already paying spectrum usage charge for the revenue which is going to flow through it. So VNO is going to make some revenue for wireless business. So NSO is going to pay spectrum usage charge. Why you want the VNO to pay spectrum usage charge when you are not going to give any spectrum to the VNO? It is hard to believe, this kind of ridiculous policies where been implemented. I do not know. There is no question of any level playing and no question of loss of revenue, because the NSO is finally going to aggregate all the revenues which are going to be collected by the VNO. VNO definitely is, see what will happen is there is a subscriber here who is going to pay subscription fee to the VNO. Now VNO is not going to basically get the empowerment to provide services to this the subscriber, because he has to basically carry forward all the infrastructure which the NSO is going to provide to him. So NSO is going to charge money from the VNO. Please give me revenue. And VNO's profitability will be thin, because the most of the carriage is going to be coming from the NSO. Maybe VNO will make 2%, 3% profit, very, very marginal profit, which means that 95% of the revenues is going to flow through the NSO. So the NSO is finally going to pay SUC on this 95%, maybe 5% no SUC is going to be charged. But why? The VNO has not been given any kind of spectrum. So why I am emphasizing on this point? Because this point is so important that you will understand that because of this point, the TRAI in its current recommendation, if you go to the TRAI recommendation here, you will find that TRAI has recommended, because of this clause, that wireline it is allowed to have multiple, parenting to multiple NSOs. But for wireless it is not allowed. Because why? Why it is not allowed? Because the calculation of SUC is going to become very complicated. So you will find here, I'll show you where it basically says that the calculation of SUC, right, will become very complicated. This is where I will write you to read. So what it basically says, this is the current recommendation. Authority has taken the note of the comments regarding the market forces determine parenting multiple views. Allowing VNO to have agreement with more than one NSO may lead to operational complexities, like compliance with various statutory provision like calculation of spectrum usage charge or licensing. Now let me explain. Spectrum usage charge, why it is going to become complicated? Because various operators will have different slab rates. A particular NSO will have a different slab rate, another NSO will have a different slab rate. So let's say if a VNO is going to parent to two different NSOs, how it is going to decide what SUC it is going to pay? You understand? License fee is very simple, 8% of revenue. There is no slab rate as far as license fee is concerned. But spectrum usage charge is absolutely correct. How will you decide? And that is why the TRAI has said that VNO separation of AGR could arise as the VNO may not be able to separate the accounting revenue from various wireless services it provides. And that is why, if you look at this reason here, it says that therefore if the VNO is restricted to only one SSO, it will only be able to provide the services to consumer only using its parent NSO. Now you can imagine, just because the SUC you are giving, this is the primary reason why TRAI is not allowing a VNO to parent to multiple NSOs, though it is allowing the wireline VNO to parent to multiple NSOs by imposing the same condition as the category B license, which was allowed in the DOT guidelines of 2018, which I showed you. But here, because of this problem, which is not a problem at all, because you should not be charging any SUC to the VNO because of the reason which I explained. And another point is, SUC has become completely irrelevant now, because if you recall, earlier the operator used to pay 3 to 4% SUC, right, for access revenues. Now what has happened is, because of the 26 gigahertz band, which the operators have taken and which has got 0% SUC, and if you do a weighted average, you will find that the SUC actually has gone to a single level. Like Bharti may be paying 0.72% SUC, Reliance may be paying also a similar amount, 0.8. I do not know, I don't have the calculation right in front of me, but it is very low compared to what it was earlier. Now SUC has become completely irrelevant. Now because of such an irrelevant issue, and VNO doesn't really contribute significant revenues today. It is today, if I show you this chart and go to my article, you will see VNO is contributing an AGR for a quarter basis of 32 crores or 36 crores versus 66k crore, 1000 crores of AGR of a particular quarter, right, for all operators together. So what is this issue, right? This is completely useless. This is basically trying to tell that we are going to make VNO so difficult to function that it will not be allowed, right? Almost like saying that wireless VNOs are not allowed in the country. Or strangely, TRAI acknowledges in the 2015 recommendation, if you look at the 2015 recommendation, if you go here, and I'll just take this out of this so that I can search and show it to you. In 2015, if I do a search here, let me do a search here, international. So if you look at international, I don't know where it was. Yeah, look at this. This is what TRAI is saying here, right? In the 2015 recommendation. Internationally, VNOs have focused mainly on provisioning mobile access services known as mobile virtual operator. So TRAI in 2015 is making the point that VNOs are relevant only for mobile operation, not for wireline operation. That is fine. Let it work as a wireline operation, but internationally the VNOs have focused mainly on provisioning mobile access services. Right? So this is what page 10 of TRAI 2015 recommendation. Now, you are acknowledging in your recommendation and you are preventing the VNOs to parent to multiple NSOs, because parenting to one NSO may not give them that kind of leverage, and because of non-pass-through nature of license fee and spectrum fee, the service charges of VNO as far as mobile operations are concerned is going to increase significantly. Unlike in case of wireline, I am going to show you that DOT came out in 2015, allowed certain pass-through charges, which were bandwidth charges and other charges, which made VNO functional and made it more viable compared to a situation where pass-through charges were similar to what a typical NSO was allowed to undertake, right? For example, if you are working, let's say there is one NSO here, another NSO here, and they are interconnecting with each other because of inter-circle roaming, there were certain charges which actually got deducted from their gross revenue to come out with an AGR for the definition. So only certain charges were allowed. But in case of VNO, what happened in year 2018? The DOT came out with a license agreement where it basically amended the AGR condition. See this 24th October 2018. But this amendment did not consider the spectrum charges and the typical license fee charges, which are mostly attributed to mobile operations. See, mobile operations were continued to be restricted because of this spectrum usage charge SUC, which provided no remedy in this order. Now, because this did not provide any remedy on SUC, now TRAI in the recommendation is making this as a point and saying that it is impossible for the VNOs to be parented to multiple NSOs as regards their wireless services are concerned. Now, another point which we should be focused on, that in this recommendation of TRAI, this one, which if you go through this recommendation, you will find that TRAI basically mentioned, and it basically took the cognizance of the fact that some of the TSPs basically said that the market is too competitive. And I will just do a search of 7 to 13. Let me just see if I can find that. I remember that there is one place where TRAI basically mentioned there are 7 to 13 mobile operators in the yeah, look at this particular point. So here if you see, it says that in the wireline segment, apart from the presence of few private layers, some pockets area of the country, market is mainly dominated by PSUs like BSNL. Whereas in case of wireless segment, there are 7 to 13 access service providers in various service areas. And it continues to give the numbers for other service providers. Now, this number is no longer relevant. You have got only 2 service providers in the country, healthy service provider, and the other 2 are not very healthy. We know that. So this whole competitiveness argument falls apart, right? So the point which I'm basically trying to say, that when the argument was made by some of the NSOs that VNOs is going to become detrimental to the overall sector because they will demotivate the access service provider to make investment, if you go here you will find that that reference, then now the situation is no longer relevant and SOC is no longer relevant. Then what is the point is not allowing the VNOs to parent to multiple NSOs? At least some kind of proactive policies should be made, at least an attempt should be made in order to unlock or unshackle the VNOs, restrictive VNO policy, which the TRAI came out long back. The government supported the TRAIs. Now they should unlock and unwind all this restriction. At least make an attempt, right? I don't know whether it will be successful, whether it makes sense for VNO to roll out services in the rural areas or not. I have no clue what the businesses are. But from a policy point of view, why are you putting so much restriction on an issue which is no longer relevant? So friends, what I did was, I wrote an article. This article I wrote just a couple of hours back. And if you look at this is the article. And this article you can read. And this article basically gives you all the points captured in one single place with all the links here. Right? Every link has been captured here. So if you're interested, please go and read. You will understand where the problems are. So our telecom sector is suffering from proactive regulation which unshackles the telecom sector to an extent that the players and the individuals who want to contribute to the development of the telecom sector can contribute without any restriction, with full flexibility. There are many things to talk about. This video does not provide me with this time and opportunity to talk about some of the major license flaws that the telecom sector in India has contributed or has since the time when the telecom sector was actually opened up, in 1995. It started with a flaw, and even today those flaws are still persistent, even though a lot of reforms have been made, but still there are a lot of loopholes. One of the major loopholes is that you are charging 40% of the revenues of the telecom service provider. In one of the video I mentioned, not profit. 40% of their top line is consumed in license fee, spectrum fee and auction fee on an yearly basis. 40% means 100 rupees of revenue. If you are earning, 40 rupees is going to the government, right? So what does this mean? It means that before you even want to make an investment, please pay 40 rupees to the government. So then only you can make the investment. Before that, you can't make investment. So this is a completely upside down policies. Policies are never like that. If you ask an economist, he will say that you should allow everybody to make investment without charging that much amount of license fee. License fee should be charged, but it should be for two reasons. One is administrative charges. Second is that it should be for efficient utilization of bottleneck resources. If let's say spectrum. Now you cannot give spectrum free, otherwise what will happen, spectrum will be inefficiently utilized. That's the objective. And whenever you are charging a cut of the profit of the cash flow, it should be on the profit, not on the input. If you are charging 40% on the input, you are basically preventing and demotivating anybody to make investment. And that is why people are not making investment. We have poor coverage, poor quality of services. Even today, the tele-density of rural tele-density is still in 59%. It is still nowhere close to 100%, which was envisaged in 2012 NTP, till to be achieved in 2020. So there are many flaws and many problems. We'll talk about those in subsequent video. I like to close this video because otherwise it will go out of proportion of the time for people to be open and motivated to listen. That is why I'm closing it. Still, it is still long, 25 minutes. Generally, my videos are 25 minutes because I don't edit my video. That's the problem. I don't have the time to edit because I've got so many things to do. But thank you very much for remaining till the end and listening to this video. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you with a new video next time.